Welcome back, Home Team Grill and the Fan. This is a Shaka Smart Radio Show. Thanks again to Darrell from the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. And back here with head coach Shaka Smart. You've already alluded to it. The best thing about college basketball is when you don't have a great performance, another opportunity is right around the corner, and you have one on Saturday in Cincinnati.
No question. Xavier, first of all, has been the premier team in the Atlantic 10 for the last 10, 15 years. I remember I was an assistant coach, actually the basketball operations director at Dayton 10 years ago, worked for Oliver Purnell, and we had a terrific year. That was a year that the A-10 wasn't quite as deep as it is this year, and the top 2 or 3 teams were head and shoulders better than everyone else. Well, we went 14-2 that year. Unfortunately, the only 2 games we lost were to Xavier, and they went 15-1. And they had a young man named David West that was just a phenomenal player, now an NBA All-Star. And I remember the last time we played against them, he had 48 points, 24 rebounds. We lost by 3 points.
Wow.
But they've always had a terrific team. This year's Xavier team is very, very good. Coach Chris Mack does a great job teaching both ends of the floor, but particularly on the defensive end. They really, really guard. Physical team, the best rebounding team in the league. They've got really good size. They'll play 3 big guys at one time. And we're going to have, make sure we play with great physicality and that we do a good job on the glass.
Yeah, they're a little bit down this year. And again, it probably just speaks to their very, very high expectations because they're not a bad team. They're just not in the top 10 or top 15.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say they're down. I would say they've been extremely up the last several years. I think they've been to either 3 or 4 Sweet 16s in the last 5 years. And just like you said, they've been a perennial team in the top 10, top 15 in the country. Done a great job recruiting. They have the top freshman in the league, a young man by the name of Samaje Christian. And he's 6'3", and you will see him playing in the NBA someday. So we need to do a terrific job on him as a team. And then they've got some rugged front court players that do a really good job that we're going to need to work against.
Another good set of guards because there seems to be a week in, week out, game in, game out. And so how much do you look at how those guards have specifically handled certain presses or any kind of pressure and maybe areas that you can exploit when you put the clamps down?
Yeah, you look at it, but not a lot of teams press, so it's hard to see how a team is going to react necessarily to our style of play because you just don't see it very much. UMass presses some, but theirs is more of a zone press. They wait a little bit more for you to come to them. But yeah, you try to find some tape maybe from non-conference play or from earlier games. Maybe you watch them play a team late in the game where that team had to press them, and you just see what they do.
The Cintas Center is going to be a very hostile environment, and maybe what you experience at St. Louis can at least get you guys ready for the Cintas Center?
Yeah, I think that'll help. I really do. I mean, St. Louis, we showed our guys video of what their crowd looked like for the Butler game. They played Butler about 3 weeks ago. But when our guys got out there, especially some of our young guys, they kind of looked up and up and up, and the student section goes forever. And I think it surprised them a little bit, but it's great. I think it's a great experience. Again, this is one of the transitions you go through when you move to a bigger league.
Yeah, and again, they have a program. They don't just have a team. They have a program and something that we've talked a lot about models like Gonzaga, but they're another model where they've dedicated a lot of resources. And
Xavier, yeah, they've got. I would say after Gonzaga, maybe Memphis.
Okay, yeah.
I would say after those two, Xavier has, over the past 10, 15 years, the top program in the country that's not in a BCS conference. They've been 9 out of the last 10 NCAA tournaments. And I think in the last 25 years, something like 22 NCAA tournaments, something ridiculous like that. So that's a level of consistency coming out of the Atlantic 10 that is very rare to find around the country.
I know you don't spend a lot of time on the bracketology, and since Joey's not on the team anymore, I don't know if anybody is. I do. if you were on the committee, what do you value? What would you value as important indicators or attributes for a tournament team? Is it strength of schedule? Is it winning on the road? What are the 2 or 3 things?
Well, first of all, those guys have a tough job, and I think every year they do a very good job. Obviously there's always some people that are unhappy, and there's some people that are very happy, like we were in 2011.
Right.
I think you have to reward teams that play a good schedule, and particularly are willing to play people away from home. Whether it's a true road game or a neutral game. Like we went 1-2 in the Bahamas, but we played some really good teams, and teams that are all in the top 25 right now, and teams that are all NCAA tournament teams. So we could have said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to play in this other exempt event with a bunch of lower, mid-major teams, and we would have won all 3 games probably. But I think you want to reward people that go out and play tough competition. Number 2, you look at people that are playing well in top leagues, some of the top flight leagues. Our league, for instance, is rated the 6th best conference in the country in the RPI. I think at times it's even been as high as 5th. So, you look at teams that are at or near the top of those leagues and that are playing well. And then lastly, I think the selection committee, as well as they can, they keep an eye on who beats other teams at certain times in the year, who was injured, who the other team had at that time. Circumstances obviously play a lot into things. Obviously playing St. Louis right now is different than playing St. Louis a month and a half ago when Kwame Mitchell was out with a broken foot. That's the type of thing that the selection committee tries to factor in, but it's impossible to know everything.
Yeah, no question about it. A lot of competition, and I think many of you are aware of the competition that Coach Smart is facing right now in the ESPN Coaches Charity Challenge. Again, everyone's been going online, ESPN.com/infinity. Remember, this is the last week. You have until the 27th of February to vote for Coach Smart. Of course, he is competing for the Friends Association of Richmond. And right now, Coach Smart is the top vote getter in the East Region. You're going to have basically the Final 4, one coming from East Region.
Yeah, so, if we can have everyone vote every day,
every day, once a day, yeah.
Yeah, you can only vote once a day, but it doesn't take long if you can vote every day. I think we have a chance to do something really special with this competition. And as you mentioned, we are leading the East Region right now, but we not only want to win the East Region, we want to win the whole thing. So we're excited about that.
It would mean $100,000 for Friends Association of Richmond, which has been helping families and children here in Richmond for about 145 years.
Yeah, it's just a terrific organization, and a group of people that are so committed to kids, and kids that need help. And as we know, in Richmond, as in a lot of places around the country, there are some great kids out there that if they do get some assistance, if they do get some mentoring, if they do get help, they have a much better opportunity to become the productive citizens that we all want our children to be.
And if you need a Vote Smart button, I know David Young's walking around here, and he's got like 50 in his pocket at all times. So he'll set you up. He's executive director of Friends Association of Richmond.